the early morning hours of July 7, 2002, 42-year-old Marlene Rose was attacked and murdered. Her body was discovered by police later that morning along some train tracks behind 1750 Purchase Street in New Bedford. Her body exhibited obvious signs of trauma, including what appeared to be bite marks, and an autopsy later revealed the cause of death to be asphyxia by manual strangulation. DNA evidence was collected from the victim's body and forensic testing was performed. DNA swabs taken from what appeared to be bite marks on the victim's body revealed the profile of an unknown male. The DNA profile was uploaded into a national criminal DNA database called CODIS, which stands for Combined DNA Index System. Unfortunately, the DNA profile did not match any known criminals in the database at that time. More recently, additional evidence was submitted for DNA testing. The results from that submission matched the DNA profile from the evidence submitted in 2002. In November of this year, our office was alerted that the CODIS system had located a match to that profile, the profile which we believe to be that of Marlene Rose's murderer. That individual was identified as 48-year-old John Laughlin, who at the time of Ms. Rose's murder lived on Austin Street in New Bedford. Sometime after the murder, he moved to Tennessee. His DNA was submitted to the National DNA Database as a result of a drug-related crime he committed while living in Tennessee. Mr. Laughlin has been arraigned in Tennessee on a fugitive from justice warrant and is fighting extradition to Massachusetts. Our office will begin the process of securing a governor's warrant in order to bring him back as quickly as possible. Since creating a cold case unit to tackle the problem of unsolved homicides in Bristol County, my office has now brought charges in 10 such cases in less than 4 years. Beginning in 2006, when I began my campaign for this office, my conviction that more needed to be done to solve unsolved homicides has grown stronger and stronger. During that year, 2006, I met with family members of the victims of several cold cases and saw firsthand the anguish and the frustration these families were experiencing. Their feeling that they had no closure and that justice had been denied to them was powerful. I strongly believe that this unit should be lauded and applauded for all they've done to take murderers off our streets and put them behind bars. In recent months, in anticipation of our 10th cold case murder being solved, meaning bringing charges, we have surveyed the rate of success in other cold case units across the entire country. I believe that no other district attorney's office of similar size in the United States can point to bringing charges in 10 cold cases in a 4-year period. Even cold case units that we looked at in larger urban areas, such as Houston and Seattle, have not matched the success of this office. And for that, I'm very proud, and the people of Bristol County should be proud as well. I would be remiss if I did not note that of the 10 cold cases we have brought charges in, 3 have already gone to trial. And in all 3, we've been able to obtain first-degree murder convictions. And we're extremely hopeful that through the skilled work of my homicide unit prosecutors, the remaining 7 cases will also lead to convictions. I'm confident that in the coming years, we'll be announcing more arrests and convictions in cold cases. But I didn't ask for this press conference just to announce the solving of this cold case and to toot the horn of the cold case unit. I called this press conference to strike a cautionary note, which I bring up to you now. With this arrest, it is a propitious time to look at what has been accomplished and why and where we're heading with this unit, whose success has been tremendous and, as I said, maybe even unmatched. I said when I started my first campaign to become district attorney 5 years ago that unsolved homicides were an open wound, especially for the families of the victims, but also for the entire county. And that's why I said we wouldn't just go back a few years, we wouldn't just go back to the 90s, we would go back to the 80s and even the 70s. We've now brought charges in 10 obtained convictions in 3 of the 10 that have gone to trial, and a 4th of the 10 for the murder of Tito Gonzalez is scheduled to go to trial 1 week from today. Every time we bring charges, we make a stitch in that open wound that I began talking about 5 years ago. And every time we get a conviction, there is some healing to that wound. But our ability to continue to do this at this pace is confronting the obstacle of our struggling economy and the specter of another $2 billion budget shortfall and the possibility of further cuts to the district attorney's budget. District attorneys throughout the state, not just in Bristol County. Cold case investigations, wiretap operations, juvenile diversion programs, and a host of other initiatives take resources and cost money. Our governor and legislature are facing some difficult choices this January. But David Osborne, who 20 years ago authored the seminal text, Reinventing Government, had several simple messages. One of them was, reward the agencies with a proven track record of success and change those that have not succeeded. I urge the governor and the legislature to heed that message.
This program is brought to you by MenuJoy.com. We show menus, you browse, you decide.
This case yet again exemplifies our mutual commitment to bringing violent offenders to justice and to bring some sense of closure to the families of those murder victims. It also, I think, demonstrates our pledge that any tip will be responded to, that any lead will be followed up on, whether it's forensic or testimonial. And if you have any information on this case or any other unsolved homicide, we please encourage you to call us at 508-99-CRIME or text us at 274-637, call 50.
Hi, my name is Stacy Barney. I am the younger sister of the deceased Marlene Rose. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody at the DA's office, the Mass State Police, the New Bedford Police Department, Anne Marie Robertson, Andrew Simmons. As you know, this case, as the DA has said, is 8 years old, and it's a long time, but today is a sign of relief, and our family feels some type of closure, and it's been a long time, but it goes to show that, never give up. Just never give up, because you never know. Just like I thought I might not see this day come, it's here. So for those of you out there that feel like, you have family members and stuff that are deceased and their cases are not solved and they're forgotten about, they're not forgotten about. Trust me, they're not forgotten about. And her 3 kids are here, and they just like to thank everybody, and that's all we have to say.
Thank you very much, Stacy. We've demonstrated that it is a priority, a leading priority, and that we're committed to this, and that and we've been extremely successful in just 4 years. So every time that Bill comes into my office or calls me on the phone and discusses the fact that we are about to bring charges in an unsolved homicide, it's an exhilarating and inspirational feeling because of, you see the family here. Think about what they feel like. You heard from Miss Bonnie about what she feels like.
I would say it was a bit surreal, and then it just sort of brought up everything all over again. So it's somewhat of mixed emotions, but we are very happy because, I have a mother that's elderly and sick, and we don't know how long she's going to be around, but she lived to see this day, and this is one day that she's in the hospital right now, and she said if she closes her eyes, it's okay. It's okay.
We do not relax, get content, rest until the jury says guilty.